Welcome to today's webinar, Deep Dive on AWS reInvent 2016 Breakout Sessions. Our presenter today is Lowell Anderson. Lowell is responsible for developing product and marketing strategies and content for Amazon's cloud computing business. In this role, Lowell focuses on helping AWS customers understand the benefits and features for the full range of AWS cloud services. Today with us, we also have Annie Hancock, Jill Fagan, Cole Platt, and Ingrid Bernert. They will serve as our webinar moderators and will engage with you and answer your questions throughout the presentation while Lowell presents. Lowell, welcome. The floor is now yours.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us today. reInvent sessions are one of the best ways for you to learn from AWS experts and customers about services, technologies, and the special topics that are of most interest to you. We've been listening to the feedback that we got from customers at last year's reInvent, and we've been working really hard to help improve the experience and make the sessions even more effective for you. During the webinar today, I'm going to tell you about some of the exciting new things that we have in store for this year, and then try to answer questions that you have as you prepare for reInvent. In today's webinar, I'm going to walk you through the process for organizing your sessions and setting up your time so that you get the most out of your reInvent experience. We're going to update you on some of the new content that we have available and some of the new session tracks, and talk about the new reserve seating, which is available for the first time this year. Every year at reInvent, we keep upping the number of sessions that we have, and this year's no different. It's bigger and better than it's ever been before. We have more tracks and more sessions than we ever had this year, over 450 sessions divided into 19 tracks. Those tracks cover several different areas, all our core infrastructure products like compute and storage and database services. We cover new technology areas like machine learning, serverless architectures, and deploying containers. And then we have tracks on focus areas like security and compliance, DevOps, and many others. All of the speakers for the sessions are either AWS experts, AWS customers who can talk about their experiences deploying AWS solutions and partner solutions, and our partners who also talk about how they deployed their solutions on AWS as well. The easiest way to get started is to use the portal, the reInvent portal, that you were given the link to when you registered, to log in and view and filter all your tracks. When you look at the tracks, you can select favorites. It's real easy to do. You just click on the little star there and select the ones that you want to see the most, and then you can view those on your calendar. There's lots of different ways to filter the sessions. You can filter by introductory, advanced, or expert sessions, which is really nice because if you're an expert in a certain area, like storage, for instance, you can look at all the expert sessions in the storage track. But if you want to learn some new technologies like IoT or machine learning, you can take introductory sessions in those tracks as well. So it really helps you both do deep dives on areas where you already have a good knowledge base, but also gives you the ability to learn about new things that we're doing and study new areas. And then in addition to that, we also have a set of industry-focused sessions as well that you can filter on. So a lot of different ways for you to look at all the different sessions that we have available by filtering down through those in the portal. One big thing that we're doing, probably the biggest new thing, is that this year for the first time we're expanding reInvent from the Venetian Hotel to also add an additional casino called the Mirage. The Mirage is another resort casino hotel that's very close to the Venetian, where we've always had reInvent. It's about a 20-minute walk away from the Venetian. And in the Mirage, we're going to offer a set of what we call mini conferences. And these mini conferences are focused on specific topic areas where you can spend the whole afternoon diving deep and learning from AWS experts, customers, and partners on some very specific areas. So on Tuesday afternoon, we're going to start the mini conferences with one on security services and another on serverless computing. Then on Wednesday, we will do a mini conference on machine learning and a second one in parallel on IoT. And then on Thursday, we'll have big data and analytics together with the mini conference on containers. Each of the mini conferences includes a State of the Union overview from one of the leaders of that particular service, and then 12 additional sessions that dive deep on each topic, and also 2 workshops each where you can learn in a more interactive way. Other new things we're doing is we've added a whole additional day of breakout sessions. So if you've been to reInvent in the past, you probably remember that we have previously had sessions on Wednesday, Thursday, and then a half day on Friday. This year, in order to accommodate the 450 sessions, we're adding another full day of sessions, so you can come and do a full session day on Tuesday before the initial keynote starts on Wednesday morning. The other thing we're going to do is that you'll be able to view the keynotes and attend the mini conferences at the Mirage. So the keynotes will be live at the Venetian as they are every year, but we'll be streaming those live keynotes to large viewing rooms in the Mirage, so you can watch those keynotes live. There'll be breakfast, coffee, food, beverages at the Mirage. So if you want to spend your afternoon at a mini conference, you can simply go to the Mirage in the morning, watch the keynotes, have a cup of coffee, relax. You don't have to worry about trying to get from the Venetian to the Mirage after the keynote. You can just go to the Mirage, watch your keynote through the live stream, and then stay in the afternoon for the mini-con at the Mirage. If you do want to see the keynote live at the Venetian, you can still do that. There should be time once the keynote finishes for you to walk from the Venetian to the Mirage. But this gives you another option if you'd rather just spend your full day at the Mirage, watching both the keynote on the live stream and then going to the mini-con. The next thing we've done is really extended the breaks. If you've been at reInvent in the past, last year, we realized we had a 15-minute gap between sessions. That was difficult for people. It caused a lot of crowding in the hallways, long lines, and made it difficult for people to get up and down the different levels within the Venetian to make it to their sessions on time. So we've extended those break times, so you now should have plenty of time to move around, time to maybe even catch up on a little email or meet with some of your contacts or do some networking, a little bit of networking in between sessions as well. So should be a little bit less hectic between the sessions, moving back and forth. And then the last thing we did to help improve the traffic flow as well is that we've staggered the start times. So in previous years, sessions have all started and ended at the same time, which caused major traffic jams in the hallways. And so as we've expanded the sessions and the number of people at reInvent, we've staggered the start times by half an hour. And so when you go into the calendar view in your reInvent portal, to schedule your sessions, you'll see that some sessions start on the hour and some sessions start on the half hour. And the idea behind that is to help reduce, again, the congestion in the hallway, make it a much more pleasant experience for you to move around throughout the venue while you're at reInvent. Now, in addition to the sessions that begin on Tuesday, we'll also have 2 half-day pre-day sessions as well. One of those is going to be what we call the industry pre-day, and this starts on Monday afternoon, and it includes a whole series of industry-specific tracks. Those are financial services, gaming, healthcare, life sciences, media and entertainment, and public sector. What these do is they give you an opportunity for you to really meet with peers and listen to AWS experts who are experts in those particular industries. Network with your colleagues and meet the AWS subject matter experts, solution architects, and business development people who focus on those particular industries. Each of these tracks is a half day. It's from 1 to 6 and includes 4 sessions. And they're open to anyone as part of your reInvent pass. So for both the mini conferences that I talked about on the previous slide, as well as these pre-days. All of that is included as part of your standard reInvent pass. You don't need to do any special registration. You will see the industry pre-day sessions and the mini conferences and all the regular sessions listed in the tool for you to register for as part of the reserved seating. So we're going to talk a little bit about reserved seating later in the webinar here, but we do recommend for these industry pre-days as well as all the sessions that you try to do the reserved seating where possible. And there's a link here that has a landing page that talks a little bit more about what those industry sessions are. They're at the awsevents.com/sessions/industry. The second pre-day is what we call Developer Community Summit pre-day. And this is again, a half-day session, a half-day track that starts at 1 and goes until 6. It's a set of sessions where we have AWS community leaders from around the world talk about how you can build and up successful communities of AWS users in your local area. You can learn how to build successful AWS user groups, which you can then build a team of peers that you can learn from. It helps you understand opportunities for building out community-driven training and also supporting open source certifications. And so these sessions, again, I've listed 4 of them here. They run from 1 until 6, and these are also part of your existing reInvent registration. So you don't need to pay any extra fees, and you register for these just like you do any of the other sessions. But these begin on Monday. So this year, for the first time, we've introduced reserved seating for sessions. What we wanted to do is make this much more relaxing experience for you so you could plan out your day in a much more organized fashion. No more rushing from sessions to sessions. Last year we've had people that felt like they needed to leave their previous sessions early just to get to the next session to make sure they got in. So by reserving your seating for your sessions and then the additional half-hour break between sessions should make that whole experience much easier for you, much more relaxing. You can focus on the session that you're in, knowing that you'll be able to get to your next session on time and that you'll have a seat available. So the way this is going to work, this will be enabled in the portal on October 19th, so a couple days away. This capability will then be available within the reInvent portal. And the way it works, it's very simple. When you filter down on the tracks that you want to see, you'll see this little button I'm showing in a circle here called Scheduling Options. And all you do is click down on that, and it shows you that confirms the time. And then you'll just click either plus or minus to add that to your schedule. Then you'll be able to go to your calendar and see where you have those sessions reserved. So it's super easy to do and very intuitive. It'll be turned on October 19th in your reInvent registration account. So you're about 2 days away from being able to do this. It's super easy. You just log into your reInvent registration account. And there's a couple different ways you can go about this. You can use the full session catalog to select sessions and click down and reserve them like I showed on the previous slide. Or you can use the calendar view, and the calendar view brings up a list of sessions listed by time slots. So I'm showing that on this particular slide here. If you can see for Tuesday, I'm showing all the sessions that occur on within that particular time slot. And so you can look at your calendar, you can look at the sessions available within a particular time slot, and right from here you can reserve the session as well. So super easy to do. If you do have a session that you want to attend, and it is showing full in the registration, you can add yourself to the wait list for that particular session. And if people do drop off, you'll be able to be placed into that session. You should note, though, that if you are waitlisted for a particular time slot, you won't be able to reserve another spot in a different session at that same time. So I think the way I typically do this, or I guess the best way from my mind to do this, is really to first look for the sessions that you're really interested in attending and mark those as your favorites. And then go down through and reserve your favorites. Then go and look at your calendar and see where you have open slots. And then from the calendar view, you can just see the choices that you want to fill in those open slots. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I think that way works pretty well. In addition to sessions, we also have a lot of other ways that you can learn and stay busy at reInvent as well. You can register for one of our boot camps. These deliver really in-depth knowledge and training from our AWS instructors. There's a link there. You go to reinvent.awsevents.com/training to register for a boot camp. You will need to do that independent of the session registration. You can also get AWS certified on-site, and this is a certification that you receive to demonstrate your technical knowledge of AWS. You'll need to register for that too at the reinvent.awsevents.com/certification website. And that's another great way to get that done while you're on site at reInvent. And then lastly, we're going to have over 100 hands-on labs that are available for you to just take on your own time. So there is a large room that will be set up in the Venetian that you can go into and select from over 100 different specialized lab topics. They give you hands-on experience, walk you through specific use cases, and you just take those on your own time. So if turns out you have some time in your calendar where you want to get some specific learning experiences, visit the hands-on lab, and you can do that. Those are free. They're on-site. You don't need to pre-reserve a seat for those. Okay, so for next steps, go ahead, log into the portal, look at the tracks that select your favorites, and then on October 19th, the tool will be updated to turn on the ability to reserve sessions. So on October 19th, you would be able to, for all your favorites, go ahead and request the reserve seating, and then you will also be able to get your calendar view, which will show that reserve seating on your calendar, and you'll be able to then fill in blank spots on your calendar at the same time. So that will be available on the 19th. Okay, thanks for your time today, and we'll open it up for some questions.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Lowell, for a great presentation, and to our moderators for answering the questions as they come in. We have about 40 minutes left, so we're going to do some verbal Q&A, and then we're going to leave the room open and continue answering the questions via text. So at this point, I'm going to hand the mic over to our moderators and back to Lowell. Please take a minute to reply to the polls you see on the left-hand side of your screen. Thank you.
Hi everybody, this is Jill. So Lowell, I've got a few questions for you. Some of it we've covered, but just to clarify for everybody on the line.
Yeah.
So there's a question about the Encore. We've talked about the Venetian and the Mirage a lot and what's happening there.
Yeah.
But what's happening over at the Encore?
I think there's some workshops that we're doing over there as well.
It's boot camps and training and that kind of thing. So
Okay.
That's what's over. Training and certification is over at the Encore.
So if you register for those boot camps, then you would be given directions to go to the Encore.
Yep. And then just a couple more questions. Just to repeat so that everybody knows, when is reserve seating going live?
So reserve seating, is going live on October 19th at 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Yes, sir.
So you'll be able to log into your portal at that time and start reserving your favorited sessions.
Great.
I'd recommend now, though, that you go in, look through the calendar, go in and select your favorites, and as soon as that reserve seating goes live, you can go right to your favorites list and start to click on selection of the reserve seating. So no reason right now why you can't go in and start seeing what sessions you want to attend.
Yep. So are sessions going to be recorded and posted?
Yeah, so all the sessions from reInvent will be recorded, posted, and if you have, you'll be able to view those with your registration.
Great. Cool.
Yeah. So you won't, even if obviously there's over 20,000 people at reInvent. We can't get everybody into one single session, but don't fear. You will be able to see that content, and if you want, you can watch all 450 sessions after reInvent.
All right. And then, do you know when the mobile app is going to be available?
In
2 weeks out from reInvent,
okay,
roughly.
Right.
And then, what do people have to do to register for those industry pre-days? Anything special?
No, nothing special for the industry pre-days or the mini-cons. When you pull down and filter on the tracks in the portal, you can filter by industry, and you'll see those industry pre-days sessions show up from that filtering, and you reserve those just like any other session. You can select them as favorites, and you can go in and set them for reservation. Same with the mini-cons. The mini-cons, you'll see, for instance, you'll see Big Data Mini-Con, you'll see Container Mini-Con, all those listed as specific tracks in the tool that you can filter on and select sessions from those mini-cons just like any other session.
Cool. And then speaking of the mini conferences, so the Mirage is going to be just like the Venetian in the sense that there's meals and breaks and everything is going to be the same over there, right?
That's right. You'll have lunch set up there in the morning for the keynotes. They'll have coffee. They'll have some snacks. They'll have beverages available in the live stream room if you choose to watch the keynote there at the Mirage, and then they'll have the full lunch service as well. So if you choose to spend the day at the Mirage, you will get the full experience that everybody is getting at the Venetian as well.
Great. And you can even register at the Mirage. You can go straight to the Mirage and register.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yep.
Cool. Let's see. I think those are most of the big questions that people have had. So yeah, I mean, we can go ahead and continue to answer online. Thanks.
All right, thanks again to Lowell and all moderators for your great presentation and answering your audience's questions. Again, we are going to hang out here and answer any questions that you have that are coming in, but this concludes the verbal portion of our webinar. If you have any comments on our previous and upcoming webinars or suggestions on the topics you wish AWS will cover in future webinars, please drop us a line at aws-webcasts@amazon.com. Again, that's aws-webcasts@amazon.com, and your feedback will help us to improve our webinar programming. Thanks for taking time to join us today. If you haven't already, please reply to the polls on the left-hand side and enjoy the rest of your day.